Greetings everyone, today I'm gonna review and rank the whole discography by Trans-Siberian Orchestra. It's been a little while since I made my last music video talking about music, so I'm gonna be a little bit rusty this time around, but no problem, kein Problem. Let's just get into the album that I like the least and move on to other better releases. First off, we have Letters from the Labyrinth. The artwork is the best thing about this album. I really like it. The first two songs are really good. I like the instruments most of all. Those first two songs are Time and Distance and Madness of Man. The instrumentals also in this album are really good, and some of the vocal work is interesting, but also some of it I just don't like. So there's not much else for me to say to talk about this album. I just find it the most forgettable album in their entire discography. So yeah, Letters from the Labyrinth at the very bottom. Not a bad album, but not as good as any of the others. So let's move on to the next item. The second album is The Christmas Attic. Although the debut had quite a boring artwork, I do love the magical and whimsical look that their album covers have, but as well, the artworks, they really do represent this Christmas feeling really well. So yeah, I really love the album cover for this one right here, and my dog is making noises in the background. The album already starts with a more interesting sound than the debut, but later on it starts getting less interesting, so I do prefer the first side much more than the second one. The world that he sees has a really nice message, and it's one of my favorite songs in this whole album. The singing is also better, I find, than in the debut. I prefer it much more in this album than in the first one. I like the rhythm in the song The Three Kings and I, the piano in tandem with the other instruments, and the singing and the swinging. The singing works really well. Christmas Canon is such a beautiful song, and I found myself really enjoying this one. As I said, starting here, the second half of this album is a little bit less interesting, but it also has some more relaxed and acoustic songs, and I do like them. So yeah, the last few songs are a bit less memorable, so I find the first half and the middle of the album more nice, more better. So yeah, I don't think that the second side of the album is bad because of those more relaxing acoustic songs, but it is definitely weaker than the first one, and just because of that, this album is not higher on my list. So other notable songs we have is Bots of Holy. So yeah, that was the Christmas Attic, and there's not much else for me to say about it, so let's just move on. Christmas Eve and Other Stories, the debut. So if you like heavy metal but want to get into that Christmas feeling, this band is the right band for you. Um, you really should only listen to this during Christmas time. I can't really picture anyone listen to this in any other time. But to be honest, if you really enjoy their sound, just go ahead and listen to this band. They are very good, but not my type of band, alright? So I intended to release this video back in Christmas. We're already with January basically finished, basically over. So yeah, I was a bit occupied during December and the very beginning of January. So yeah, this video didn't come out at the time I intended it, but I started listening to this around the time of Christmas, this band, and although they are a really amazing sounding band, like they are very good, a very good band, and well, you should really listen to these to this music during Christmas time. But honestly, for my personal taste, this band is not really my favorite one. So yeah, if you wanna listen to some heavy metal Christmas, listen to this band. So let's just keep on. I have some other notes on Christmas Eve and other stories I did enjoy whenever an instrumental is played. Not that the vocals are bad, but in this setting I just prefer the instrumentals. And in this first album the vocals are not really that great. I did not really enjoy them. The vocalist's voice does go along well with the Christmas sound they have, but as I said, it gets better on the other albums. This first one not that great. And I noticed that listening to this debut, I enjoyed more the instrumentals. I just noticed. I enjoyed them much more. We have also in here the song A Mad Russian's Christmas. Might be one, if not the most memorable Christmas song ever. And this heavy metal cover is simply too amazing and they play extremely well. This is definitely one of my favorite songs from this album right here for sure. And other than that, there are some other notable songs. I Start to Follow for Snow, an instrumental, and The Silent Nutcracker, also another instrumental. So yeah, their debut, really nice debut. I would recommend you start listening to them with this album right here. So that was Christmas Eve and Other Stories. Let's move on to the next item. The Lost Christmas Eve. The piano at the beginning sounds good, and this album starts in a great manner. Let's say at this point I was just forcing myself to listen to this band. As I said, it's not that they're a bad band, but most definitely not the type of music that I enjoy listening. So when I got to this album, I sort of listened to this band in order of release. And when I got into this album, I was just at the point of forcing myself to listen to this band because, as I said, this is not really my type of music. And when I got to here, it was just like, alright, I already listened to a few albums, there's just a few more to go. I want to make this ranking of their discography, so let's go, let's do this. And that probably took a higher toll on me really enjoying these albums, but I believe I still managed to, and partial enough to make it good, to write down the good things about these albums and make an honest review of them for the ranking. So yeah, The Last Christmas Eve, the beginning of the album has some really good songs though, and the instruments here are also really good. I noticed, you can see by now that I overall just prefer their instrumentals over any other of their songs. And this album is really good actually, even though I was forcing myself to listen to this. I enjoyed this release. So that was The Last Christmas Eve, the, let's say, fourth album. Yeah, the fourth album. Now there is just two more albums. From what I know, the number one I picked up is also the consensus or the best Trans-Siberian album ever. So I guess nobody will get mad at me for having a heretics list, for picking up the wrong albums. So yeah, let's move on to what did I just do? My table is so dirty right now. Like there's a whole lot of dust, not dirty, dusty. My workspace is so dusty right now. Well, whatever. Let's move on to the next item. Well, Night Castle is next. This was the last album I listened from their discography, and I really enjoyed this one. It's the longest album with the highest number of songs out of all of the releases. As far as the artwork goes, it is the one with the least Christmas feel of all of their releases, but I still enjoy this art that they have right here. I have the impression that this one sounds more like an opera, like something more orchestral. It's just an impression I have from listening to this album right here. I know all of their albums have that sound to it, and from what I read, they do have an orchestra playing with the heavy metal band, so yeah, that's really nice. There are moments in this album where the vocals are at rock bottom. Some of the worst I've listened for this band though. So yeah, the debut had some really bad vocals, and this album right here also has some bad vocals as well. So that's not nice. But this album has some very high moments and other moments that I don't enjoy that much. But yeah, Epiphany is quite a long song, 10 minutes it is, and I quite enjoyed the lyrics and everything else in this song. And we have Embers, a very nice little instrumental song. I enjoyed it a lot. And well, as I said, this is the last album we listened from their discography. So I can say for certain that this has the best instrumentals of this band, like the best instrumentals of this entire discography are all in this album right here. So yeah, let's just ignore the shitty vocals and just pay attention to the amazing instrumentals that we have here. I can do that. Well, to end up, we'll have some other notable songs: The Mountain, Dreams We Conceive, Moonlight, and Madness. Those are other nice songs. So by process of elimination, you already know what's number one. So let's just move on to the number one. Beethoven's Last Night. I think it's Beethoven's. God damn it. I love the artwork. It is so beautiful. I love this sitting Beethoven. I love the sitting Beethoven, the thunder, the piano, the bookshelf, the candles. The colors used in this art are just beautiful as well. So yeah, one of the greatest things about this band are the album covers. They are all just amazing. Just look at this one. From the start, we have some classic sounds and parts in this album, such as the first song, Overture. This album feels more like a united work. From what I know, this is a concept album about Beethoven, so that's really intriguing, I might say. I noticed that the piano is so very present in this work, much more than in the other band's releases. Beethoven's passages all over this work are just completely beautiful, and I find myself enjoying them much more. What is Eternal has that classic Christmas tune, or is it a marriage tune? I don't listen to either of those two at all, so I can't really say for sure. But the next song here that we're gonna talk about, Whenever. No, that's not a song. Sorry, it's just the way I wrote the notes down here. Whenever they mix classical instruments with guitars and bass, it's just simply amazing. So that comes back to what I said about them having an orchestra together with the band itself. So that's really interesting. There's some like symphonic metal and symphonic rock bands out there that play with an orchestra alongside an orchestra, so that's really amazing for us to have there. There's one album from Cradle of Filth that they do that. I think it's Damnation in a Day. So that's nice too. The instrumentals in this album are as well some of the best instrumentals I've heard from this band. But since I listened to this before Night Castle, yeah, Night Castle still has the better instrumentals. Alright, I still prefer them over the ones in this release right here. There's the song A Last Illusion. It has some amazing guitars and the chord progression. I really enjoy it. So other than those more important notes, some other songs that I enjoyed are Mephistopheles, I think that's it. Mephistopheles, What is Eternal, Vienna, and Mozart. So that's my ranking of Trans-Siberian Orchestra. As I said, I'm a bit rusty this video because it's been like it's been longer than a month since the last one of these videos I recorded. So yeah, I'm gonna record some other videos right now about some other albums I listened, but I'm gonna say this band, it's a good band. Not my type of music though. If you wanna listen to some heavy metal Christmas, just listen to this one. It's a good band. So I hope you enjoyed this video for some damn reason, because I know this is one not the best I've ever made, but whatever. Subscribe until the next video.